After our discussion on economics of search, we shall continue to discuss on economic theory of crime and punishment, or economics of crime and economics of punishment. So why do we need this economic theory approach to this crime and punishment? The most important thing is the traditional theory of criminal law. It offers reasons for the characteristics of a crime and distinguishes criminal prosecutions from civil disputes. But it does not offer a predictive model of criminal behavior or propose a clear goal for criminal law. So, whatever the traditional criminal law we have, it will offer reasons. What crime is, what are its characteristics, different types of crimes that are being committed, and there is distinction between criminal disputes and civil disputes, all this. But it does not explain to us, or it does not provide to us a predictive model of criminal behavior, or neither does it give a clear goal for criminal law. So that it does not give a goal for criminal law, which is provided by this economic dimension. Whereas the economic theory of crime provides a predictive model of criminal behavior based upon a theory of the rational choice to commit a crime. So when we hear this, it's not that we are giving rationality for committing a crime. But if there is something happening like this, what is the rationality behind it? Why it is happening? All this explained with the help of economic theory of crime. And it proposes a clear goal for criminal law and the policy. What is that clear goal? It should minimize the social costs of crimes. So the crimes have different type of costs on the society. Those social costs should be minimized. So this dimension is given by the economic theory of crime, but not by the traditional theory of criminal law. Thereby, we need to understand this economic theory. Just a second. So now let us move into this economic theory of crime and punishment. Now, crimes are usually ranked by seriousness. So lesser crimes and serious crimes. So you just do some pickpocket and all, they are lesser known crimes. Seriousness, somebody commits a murder or things like that. Serious theft, by killing people, inmates of the house and all. So crimes are ranked by their seriousness, and let X denote the seriousness of a crime. And when X is equal to 0, it indicates that there is no crime. And when X is positive, that is greater than 0, it indicates a serious crime. So let us indicate X by the seriousness of the crime. More serious crimes often have a larger payoff. Now, why does one commit a crime? Because that criminal is going to get something in return for that crime which he or she has committed. So it is giving him some payoff. Payoff is the returns. So crime ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವನಿಗೇನೋ ಒಂದು ಲಾಭ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಈಸ್ ಕಮಿಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಆ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ದು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವಂತ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಪೇ ಆಫ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ criminal. If Y denote the criminal's payoff. So again, I'll repeat, payoff is nothing but the returns or benefit that he is getting from committing a crime. So if Y is the returns from the crime, Y is function of the crime, seriousness of the crime, X, and YX increases. So Y is the payoff or the returns, and it increases as YX increases or seriousness of the crime increases. Andre enartha, seriousness of crime increases, the payoff for the criminal also increases. So y is a function of yx. So to be concrete, let us consider the crime of embezzlement by an accountant in a small company. So embezzlement is through accounts he has tried to take off some money of that company. The seriousness of embezzlement is partly measured by the amount stolen. So serious, lesser the amount, lesser the crime. Higher is the amount that he has embezzled, higher is the seriousness of the crime. So the accountant can embezzle nothing. If he cannot steal money at all, x is equal to 0. So payoff also is 0. Nobody has committed any crime and there is no returns also. And if accountant can embezzle a lot, say $10,000, in which case y is equal to payoff from the crime x is $10,000 and the crime is serious. So punishment also can be ranked by severity. If F is the severity of the punishment, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ತೀವ್ರವಾಗಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಸಿವಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದಂತ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ if F is the severity of the punishment, F is equal to 0 indicates no punishment, and F is greater than 0, that is if it is positive, indicates severe punishment. More severe punishments attached to more serious crimes. So severity is the crime, greater is the or severe is the punishment. So crime ದೊಡ್ಡದಿದ್ದಷ್ಟು ಸಿವಿಯರ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಿವಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ? if they are caught. So F is function of again, so that is punishment is again function of severity of the crime, and F of x increases in x. Severity of crime ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು F of x ಕೂಡ increase ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ punishment ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. So to be concrete, consider a fine to punish embezzlement. To punish ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಗಳು ಪಡಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ the fine must exceed the criminal's ಪೇ ಆಫ್. ಸೊ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರುವಂತಹ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್, ಆ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಪೇ ಆಫ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಟು ಪನಿಷ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ವೈ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ದ ಪೇ ಆಫ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಫ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ವರ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಸರ್ಟನಿಟಿ, ಕಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ವುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನೂ ಲಾಭ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಲಾಭಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ದೆನ್ ಪೇ ಆಫ್ ವೈ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್, ವೇರ್ ಎಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೈ ಇಸ್ ಪೇ ಆಫ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಲಾಭ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ he will not commit the crime. So since f of x is greater than yx, and if each crime is punished with certainty, committing crime would not pay. Hence the criminal would choose x to equal to 0. That is, there is no crime. In reality, all the crimes are not punished. Punishment is probabilistic, not certain. It is uncertain. The offender, that is the one who has committed the crime, yaar offense ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, he might escape detection, apprehension or conviction. So detection ಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಗೊಳಗಾಗೋದು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ಳದೆ ಇರೋದು, ಇದರಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಎಸ್ಕೇಪ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. because it is probabilistic. Now a rational decision maker takes the probability of punishment into account when contemplating the commission of any crime. So a rational decision maker, what does he do now? He will take the probability of punishment into account when contemplate. ಯಾವುದೇ crime na ನಾನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆ he will take the probability. So the expected punishment equals the probability P of punishment times its severity. So what is the expected? ಈಗ ನಾವು expected returns ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನದು ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ವಿತ್ ಅನ್ಸರ್ಟನಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ, ಹೌ ಡಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್, ದ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಗೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು probability P of punishment multiplied by its severity F. So P into F. So for example, if the fine for stealing $1,000 is equal to $2,000. So 1,000 ಕದ್ಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೈನ್ 2,000 ಅಂತ ಆದ್ರೆ, and if the probability of being caught and convicted is equal to 0.75. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅವನ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡು ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ 0.75 ಇದ್ರೆ, ದೆನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ P 0.75 into the severity of punishment. So the fine is $2,000. 0.75 into 2,000 will be equal to 1,500. So the expected punishment curve PF will always lie below the actual punishment curve F, because the probability P is less than 1. So yakandre ella crime gunu punishment agutte andre probability will be equal to 1, but usually it is not so. Thereby probability is less than 1. So our expected punishment curve PF will always lie below FX, actual punishment curve. ಸೊ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಳ್ಳನ್ನ ಹಿಡಿಯೋದು ಪ್ರಾಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಕೊಡ್ಸೋದು, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್, ಪ್ರಾಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕನ್ವಿಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕುವಂತ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಫರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಟ್, ಪ್ರಾಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಾನ್ವಿಕ್ಟ್ criminals. So thus the probability P of a sanction is a function of the crime's seriousness. So probability P of a sanction ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ರೀತಿ ತಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, again it is function of the crime's seriousness and PX increases with X. And the punishment FX also increases with the crime seriousness. So thus the expected sanction PX into FX, that is probability of committing the crime and getting a sanction PX, and the return FX increases with the crime seriousness. Since expected punishment is greater than payoff for all values of X, expected punishment. So since expected punishment is greater than payoff for all values of X of the crime, it does not pay for a person facing the expected punishment. So expected punishment intadide anta gottiro anta criminal ge to take up and commit a crime would not be feasible. Most people in the situation most of the time in which crime does not pay. So usually because they know about the expected punishment, they know that the crime does not give them any good returns. However, sometimes a person is in circumstances in which crime pays. So there will be certain circumstances. For example, when a person has the opportunity to commit the crime with little chance of getting caught. So if a person knows that ನನಗೆ ಆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ, he will tend to commit that crime. Crime also pays in circumstances where the criminal suffers relatively
दूर नहीं चलो जाके नेटवर्क चालू जाए हाँ
Am I audible? There was a problem here.
Audible, ma'am. Audible.
Okay. I think the presentation. Yeah. So here, most of the times, certain times we can see that payoff, that is returns from the crime, is higher than the expected punishment. So in those cases, the person might tend to commit the crime because returns are higher than the expected punishment. So embezzling low amounts of money yields an expected net gain. As the seriousness of the crime increases, the actual payoff increases more slowly than the expected punishment. Consequently, embezzling large amounts of money yields an expected net loss because expected punishment will be higher if they embezzle higher amount. So the payoff would not be there, and it will be loss for the criminal. So the expected profit from the offense equals the difference between the payoff and the expected punishment, which is represented on the graph by the vertical distance between these two curves. The vertical distance is maximized when the series of the offense equals x asterisk. Consequently, the rational criminal embezzles x asterisk. So we can see here this.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. Ma'am, your PPT is not visible, ma'am. You are not sharing the screen.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. That's why there was some disturbance. No?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is
Visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Visible.
So payoff and expected punishment, it is maximum here when seriousness of crime is given by x asterisk. So it is at this point a rational if the criminal is going by rational choice, he will try to commit it's not moving slide. He will try to commit this much of embezzlement at where it is equal to x asterisk. Yeah. So the expected of it is maximized at x asterisk. So the rational criminal will steal amount of equal to x asterisk, where payoff return for him is maximized by committing the crime. So the conclusion is expressed in marginal values. So even in search of search economics, we saw that marginal cost is equal to marginal return. So here also it is the same, maximize y of x minus, that is maximize the expected returns or expected payoff from the crime minus the expected punishment. So the marginal benefit to the criminal from increasing the seriousness of the offense by a small amount is given by the slope of its tangent line to the payoff curve, which we denote y dash. That is the first order derivative, dy by dx. The marginal expected cost to the criminal is equal to the expected increase in punishment from increasing the, there is some disturbance. Somebody is talking. And the marginal expected cost to the criminal is equal to the expected increase in punishment. So what is the cost now? Returns is what he gets from by committing the crime, y of x. So what is the cost for the criminal now? The punishment, expected px and fx. So it increases from increasing the series of the offense by a small amount, which is given by the slope of the PXFX line. So the expected punishment curve, it is denoted by P dash F plus PF dash. So it has two components, that is increasing the probability of punishment and increasing the amount of fine F dash. Okay, P dash and P dash F plus PF dash. Now, the criminal maximizes the net benefits of the crime by stealing an amount of money up to the point at which the marginal benefit of an additional amount embezzled equals the marginal expected punishment. So, marginal cost is equal to marginal benefit. So, if Y dash is the criminal marginal benefit, marginal cost is P dash F plus PF dash. So actually it is the first order derivative of Px Fx, and Y dash is the first order derivative of the expected payoff. So thereby marginal benefit payoff is equal to marginal cost, which is the marginal expected cost of punishment. So here again we observe that whenever we move to application part, the most important rule is marginal benefit being equal to marginal cost. So whenever we want to optimize or rationalize anything, this is the rule. Marginal cost is equal to marginal benefit. So for x, for values of below x asterisk, that is in the figure we saw, the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal expected cost to the criminal. So marginal benefit is higher than the marginal expected cost to the criminal. So the criminal will go on increasing the seriousness of the offense. Same way for values of x above x asterisk, the marginal expected cost exceeds the marginal benefit. So since the punishment will be greater than the benefit, criminal will decrease the seriousness of the offense. So anyhow, we will move to the rational embezzlement amount x asterisk. For x equal to x asterisk, the marginal benefit equals the marginal expected cost. So the criminal maximizes its net payoff by not changing the seriousness of the offense. The marginal expected punishment for embezzling an additional dollar has two components. I already mentioned it. The change in the probability of the punishment P dash multiplied by the fine, that is P dash F, and the change in the severity of the punishment F dash P multiplied by the probability of the punishment. So both are positive for severity. So X crime na severity alli jasti aitu andre, severity jasti aitu andre, probability of punishment jasti agutte P dash, matte change fine F dash ಅಥವಾ punishment adu kuda jasti agutte. So both are positive for rise in severity. Hence the expected punishment curve slopes upwards. Now this analysis is used to predict the response of criminals to changes in marginal costs and benefits. So how the criminals will respond when there is changes in marginal costs and benefits. So an investment, what is the implication? An investment of more effort in enforcing criminal law can increase the marginal probability P dash of punishing the criminal. So to increase P dash, that is probability of punishing the criminal, the efforts in enforcing criminal law, or the we have to spend more in enforcing the criminal law. And similarly, an investment of more effort in punishing criminals, that is increasing F dash, such as improving the system of collecting fines, can increase the marginal severity F dash. So according to the preceding equation and graphs, an increase in P dash or F dash will decrease the seriousness of the offense committed by the rational criminal. So why should we put more efforts in increasing the efforts in catching the criminals and detecting the crimes, and increase the amount of fine and punishment? because it is going to decrease the seriousness of the offense committed by the rational criminal. So what is the implication now? More certain and severe punishment reduces the seriousness of crime. So as the probability of punishment goes on increasing, you are moving towards one. Probability is equal to one means what? All crimes are punished. So as you go on increasing the probability and make punishments more severe, the seriousness of crimes will go on reducing. So that is the implication. Now, applying that model of rational crime to public policy. So how we can adopt this model of rational crime in public policy? What is the implication? So we know that demand curve for goods slopes down because when the price rises and some people buy less of the good and others stop buying it when price increases. Same way, when the expected punishment rises or increases, some criminals commit fewer crimes. Like when price increases, you are buying less goods. When the expected punishment rises, some criminals will commit lesser crimes and other criminals will stop committing them. They are scared of the expected punishment and they will stop committing those crimes. Now, the proposition that the demand for curve for goods slopes down based the August title, we all know that it is the first law of demand. Similarly, the proposition that an increase in expected punishment causes a decrease in crimes is we can call it as the first law of deterrence. Deterrence in the sense trying to avoid criminals from committing the crime. Deterrence, avoidance, so that they do not commit the crime. So the proposition that increase in expected punishment causes a decrease in crimes can be called as the first law of deterrence. So as the expected punishment increases, what happens? The severity of the crime goes on decreasing, or number of crimes also will come down. So now we are talking about behaviors of criminal or rational choice of the criminals, because economic theory of behavior begins with super rationality, but it need not end there. Many crimes and torts occur under conditions of diminished rationality, which economists have already begun to model. So always we think that human beings, even the criminals, they are rational human beings. They behave with super rationality and all. But many a times we know that many crimes and different types of criminal acts occur under the conditions of diminished rationality. That rationality might not be at its optimal level in certain situations or under certain conditions. So even those things have been considered by economists while modeling the economic behavior. So the best example is Saturday night fever. So what is this Saturday night fever? Any idea? So Saturday is what? Weekends. So what will everyone do? Weekends, they go, they try to party, have drinks, and what happens when you have drinks and other type of intoxicating things? Your rationality is diminished. And in that situation, in those conditions, you might commit certain, a person might have committed certain crimes which we would not have committed under his complete senses. So complete sense ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು crime ಅನ್ನ he might have committed during such situations. So that is called as diminished rationality due to many reasons. So Saturday night fever is whatever weekends party and all happens. So because of that intoxication and all, certain things might be committed. So a lot of crimes happen in that situation. So ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ rationality ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ criminals ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. They can act under diminished rationality also, which is also being considered by the economists in their models. So that is known as diminished rationality. So the tipping point R asterisk is the discount rate at which the immediate benefits equal the expected future cost. So you are going behind the immediate benefits because your rationality has diminished. Okay. So thus an actor whose discount rate exceeds R asterisk commits the wrong. So if for a person whose discount rate is beyond this, he will commit the wrong, and an actor whose discount rate falls short of R asterisk does not commit the wrong. This is in the case of diminished rationality. So here you consider immediate benefits and the not giving importance to other things. Here the rationality is not at its best. Okay. Now, what is the economic goal of the criminal law? So there are two basic kinds of social costs that are associated with the crime. What are those? One is the net harm caused by the crime. Okay, directly because a crime is committed, there is a harm to the society. So some theft happens and somebody loses a lot of money, gold, or whatever important things because of the crime. Some people might have lost their lives also. So that is the harm caused directly by the crime. And other cost, social cost is what? The resources spent on preventing it. You need policing, you need police force, you need jury. There you have to deter. There has to be deterrence, stop people from committing the crime and all. So all these, for all this we need to spend a lot. So you can hear me now?
Yes,
So-
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So the economic goal should be to minimize the social cost of the crime, which includes the sum of the harm that a crime has caused and the costs of the preventing the crimes. So optimal amount of crime deterrence and of efficient punishment. So changes in marginal social cost of crime and marginal social benefit can change the optimal level of deterrence. Now, coming back to economics, we know that to know the optimal level of deterrence, uh, we have to consider the marginal social cost and the marginal social benefit. For example, suppose that the opportunity cost of resources devoted to deterring crime falls and the marginal social benefit of deterrence remains the same. So if marginal social cost falls from MSc D to MSc D1, reducing the marginal social cost, and MSB, marginal social benefit remains the same, the optimal level of deterrence would increase to D double asterisk from D dash, D asterisk. So D asterisk in the social cost, marginal social cost ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಡಿಟರೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, the amount of crimes committed in the society comes down when deterrence increases. So as long as deterrence is costly, the optimal amount of crime is positive. So as the social cost is higher and higher, the amount of crime will be always positive. That means what? There will be some crime or the other happening in the society. So costly deterrence, the cost of deterrence, that is high cost of deterrence, precludes a rational society from entirely eliminating crime. Because there is high cost of deterrence, what happens? A rational society is precluded. It cannot have a society completely free from eliminating the crime. Why? Because cost of deterrence is high. As the cost is higher, there will be positive deterrence. If deterrence costs rise, the optimal amount of crime also rises. So if deterrence, that's why the deterrence costs also have to be very optimal. Now, coming to bad crimes and good people. So that is about public policy. How the government has to spend on deterrence and try to increase the deterrence instead of increasing the crimes. Now, what about we people? Bad crimes and the good people. So if there are bad crimes happening, what are the good people doing? So here we can see the relationship between willingness to pay, that is how much people are willing to pay for the cost of toward the cost of deterrence. So the vertical axis in figure represents the amount a person would sacrifice to do his or her civic duty. So civic duty is what? As a citizen, I have some responsibility in contributing towards this cost of deterrence. So I must be doing some duty as a citizen in reducing the crimes that is happening in my neighborhood. So what is this sacrifice? It is measured by the amount the citizen would be willing to pay, which is the money equivalent of time, effort, opportunity, inconvenience, or risk. So it is the money equivalent. Willing to pay for deterrence means what? It is the money equivalent of the time, effort, and opportunity, inconvenience, or risk, whatever is gone through by the citizen. The horizontal axis represents the proportion of citizens willing to pay the price. So according to here, how many people? So x-axis is how many people are willing to pay the price, 25%, 50%, like that. So according to graph, roughly 80% of the citizens will pay something to do their civic duty, and roughly 20% will sacrifice nothing. So around 80% are willing to pay, and roughly 20% are not giving. Of each person to do a civic duty often decreases with the number of people who do it. So if more people are doing it, the willingness to pay, the sacrifice or the amount you have to pay will obviously decrease. So one area for economics of governance for us to So here we can see that very few people or a greater number of people are contributing for this. So these two possibilities correspond, where many people help to suppress crime or very few people help in suppressing the crime. So besides deterring criminals, law can help good citizens move to an equilibrium where many people perform civic acts and little crime occurs. So apart from deterring the criminals from committing the crime, the law can also help good people to move to an equilibrium where many people are performing civic acts, so that criminals cannot commit crimes and thereby little crime occurs. So in economic jargon, the criminal law coordinates good citizens so that society achieves a low crime equilibrium. So remember, if we don't have this economic dimension, the criminal law itself would not suggested these implications, right? The criminal law coordinates or should coordinate good citizens, that is good people in the society, so that the society achieves a low crime equilibrium. So every society wants a low crime equilibrium rather than a high crime equilibrium. So this analysis illustrates a common feature of social norms. What is that? It is the multiple equilibria. With multiple equilibria, state laws perform the important function of coordinating the behavior of good people, not just deterring wrongdoing by bad people. So what is it? Criminal law would just deter criminals from doing the or committing the crimes. But here what? With multiple equilibria, it should also coordinate the behavior of good people. So this brief discussion introduces us to an exciting new area of research in law and economics, which is the study of social norms. So usually what happens, we just leave the citizens to themselves. Some are we call it as civic activism. Some are naturally very active as citizens in the society, but many people they just stay aback. ಏನು ಅದಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ನಮ್ಗೇನಂತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಇದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಲಿಬ್ರಿಯಾ ಆರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಆಫ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ನಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್, there should be such a society where good people should come forward and coordinate so that we have a low crime equilibrium in the society. Yeah. So this is about economics and crime. Now we will move to the last topic of the day. I hope I am not burdening you people with all this. The last one and simple one, it is known as efficient market hypothesis. What is this efficient market hypothesis? A financial market or any market is efficient when market prices reflect all available information about the value. So why do we have this price mechanism for goods and services? Because we want to know the value, implicit value of those goods and services. How do we value them? Through prices. So a efficient market is the one where the market prices of goods and services or the assets will reflect all available information about the value of those goods and services. So now a precise definition needs to answer these two questions. What is the all available information and what does it mean to reflect all available information? So all available information ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. So now let us try to answer those two questions. All available information includes past prices. So what were the previous price, what were the prices of those goods and services in the previous time periods? So that is weak form of the information. Then there is public information. There is prices, news, websites carrying about the prices and all the other information about the market and all. So this is known as semi-strong form of information. Now, all information, including inside information. So what is happening in the market? What is that inside trading happening? In what way the market is moving, the trends, everything. This is called as the strong form of the information. This is what we mean by all available information. Now, prices reflect all available information means that financial transactions at market prices using the available information are zero NPV activities. So what is this NPV? Net present value activities. That means what? If you are buying or selling a commodity or whatever you are doing with those commodity goods and services in the market, when you are buying or selling, it must be a zero NPV activity. That means what? Zero net present value activity. If positive NPV, net present value activity, means what? The price that you are buying that commodity now would increase to a much higher level in the near future. So at present, the NPV is positive for that commodity. If it becomes lesser, it will be negative NPV. Okay. Zero NPV is what? What value it reflects today, the same value it has in the future time period or in the previous time period also. Its value would have been reflected by the same market price. Okay. This is what we mean by prices reflecting all the available information. So if the market was efficient in these terms, if the information was efficiently available to everyone about the value of goods and services, right, then the activities of trading would be zero NPV activities. So why should prices reflect available information? If it does not, there would be positive NPV trades. So that's what I said. If it does not reflect all the information, there can be positive net present value trades. And that means all of us know about stock, shares, and equities. So if you buy a share today, what do you expect? Its value must have increased double the times or many a times over few years or in a few days or in few months, things like that. That is called as positive NPV trades. So because of this, market is not efficient, because the prices are not reflecting all the available information, it is giving rise to a lot of speculative activities in the market, which is not actually efficient, which is not actually perfect. So what happens if the prices do not reflect all the available information? That means if the market is not efficient, then there would be speculative activities because of the positive NPV trades. So suppose that Merck announces a pharmaceutical company announces a new allergy drug that could completely prevent the hay fever. So recently we had COVID-19 for that matter. We know how pharmaceuticals came up with vaccines and all. Now, how should the share price of the pharmaceutical company Merck react to this news? So there are three hypothetical paths for the price adjustment. Price adjustment of what? The share price of the Merck company. So the price will increase immediately to a new equilibrium level, or it will increase gradually to the new equilibrium level, or it will first overshoot and then settle back to the new equilibrium level. So it's these three price adjustment, three types of price adjustments can happen. So here we can see overreacting and coming back to equilibrium level, this line, and then under reaction gradually moving to the equilibrium level. So efficient market reaction, no overreaction or underreaction will be there. It will obviously move to the new equilibrium level given the value of the share with new drug being introduced by the Merck company. So what are the empirical tests of efficient market hypothesis? So there is a lot of supportive evidence. Weak form of efficient market hypothesis is supported by the data. What is that? Technical trading rules are not consistently profitable. So if every time trading was positive and people were making money with trading by buying and selling shares, arbitrage, hedging, etc., right? For forwards, options, swaps, future swaps, lot of things are there. But what happens, these technical trading rules, they are not consistently profitable. Something goes wrong. Why? Because there is weak form of efficient market hypothesis, because people, the price is reflecting the information to a certain extent. So semi-strong form of EMH is generally supported by the data. So weak form is supported, semi-strong. Prices react to news quickly. So suddenly there is a budget announcement, some tax on some commodity is increased, GST is increased. Suddenly the share prices of that company will fall down, right? So prices react to news quickly. So there is semi-strong form of price, news and public information. It is semi-strong form of efficient market hypothesis. So again, it is supported because we know that share prices react to news very quickly. Now, strong form of EMH has mixed evidence. So what is this strong form? Many managers cannot consistently, money managers, that is, there are investment bankers and there are people who guide the market, who give clues how the market will move and all. Even they cannot consistently outperform. So something will go out of their hand also. Why? Because they are not the ones who will decide. The efficient market, some information will always flow through prices to everyone. So ambiguous evidence, we all know about the stock market crashes. We know about global financial crisis, sovereign debt crisis in Europe, Euro region and all. So there is no apparent exogenous news. Why this happened? Because there was no complete information available to everyone. So there is no apparent exogenous news, enormous and discontinuous price drop worldwide and no immediate bouncing back. So even with sometimes it happens as the market goes down with lockdown in COVID-19 and all, we observed that. But here sometimes the market might crash suddenly without any apparent exogenous news and all. So enormous and discontinuous price drop worldwide, and there worldwide it is happening and there is no immediate coming back, market bouncing back, right? So this is all ambiguous evidence. So who are the suspects? Index arbitrages, people in between, the middlemen, the bulls or bears, whatever we call, all those people are the suspect ones in creating such a situation. Then there is portfolio insurance. As per the portfolio insurance, they have some investments that they have made. They try to take the market in that way so that few of them will benefit. And there is institutional selling, huge selling activity by the institution and firms. The dividends are smooth, but the prices are volatile. That is share and equity prices, they are volatile. So all this provides the ambiguous evidence. Now, what are the implications of efficient market hypothesis? So we have to trust the market prices. We have to believe the market prices. So buying and selling assets must be zero NPV activities, and market prices should give best estimate of value for the projects, and firms should receive fair value for the securities like shares and bonds and equities that they issue. And we must be able to read into the prices. So if the market price is reflecting all the available information, we can extract information, lot of information from the prices when the market is efficient, and there are no financial illusions. So recent that global financial crisis, you remember everyone was using the word bubble, the bubble burst, right? So what was that bubble? That was the financial illusion. So there will be no financial illusions when there is efficient market, when the prices are reflecting the value and when they are reflecting all the information. So market price reflects value only from an asset's payoff. So based on what the returns of the assets are, the price of that asset will be given in the market. There is no illusion, there is no gas castle built, nothing. There are no bubbles built and all. Whatever is the value, based on that you are having the market price, and it will be not easy to trick the market. So when there is efficient market, few people, few actors, like bulls or bears in the share market, they cannot trick the market. So where does the value comes from? It comes from economic rents, such as, that is, when there is efficient market, the value comes from superior information. So whoever has superior information, they will gain more. Whoever has superior technology, they will gain more. And whoever has access to cheap resources in the process of generating goods and services, they will gain more. So we will stop here. This is about efficient market hypothesis. So I'll stop here. So anything you want to ask? Hope it was not overload of information today.
Hello, excuse me, madam. Hello.
Yes.
I have one. I need one clarity regarding since our theme is sustainable development.
Yeah.
Can we relate this economic theory of crime and punishment to environmental related issues like externality or pollution?
Yeah. As I told you, when we move to application part, everything comes with marginal social cost being equal to marginal social benefit. So that will be the sustainable and optimal solution. So even in environmental economics, same application, same rule gets applied. So even here we can talk about sustainability, how good people can be, how civic society can be involved in reducing the crimes and all. So again, it is towards a sustainable community.
I think somewhere in Pareto optimality, the similar concept arises, right?
Yeah, anywhere when we talk about optimality in economics.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, the applied economics rule is marginal cost being equal to marginal benefit or marginal returns. Marginal social benefit is equal to marginal social cost. So wherever we move, whether it is environmental economics, Coasian theorem and all, same thing comes back. It keeps coming back, because when we talk about optimality, that is the rule, right? When you are optimizing certain things, anything, marginal cost must be equal to benefit. That is where we find the solution.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Anyone has questions?
Yeah.
Madam, this is Vinayak Madi. You have to propose a vote of thanks.
Okay.
If